Jim, a year ago you were fighting out at the bottom end of the table, and today you've secured top four, and what a way to do it.
Oh, just incredible feeling for the players, my board, the supporters. Said that to the players after the game. You know, the performance itself was just fantastic. Edinburgh, you know, brought back all the players today, and it was going to be a difficult game for us. I thought they started fairly well with possession, but you know, when we got the goal, we just grew in confidence and a thoroughly professional performance, and it's been like that the last few weeks. I'm delighted with the clean sheet, delighted with the goals we scored, but I just said that to the players. Incredible turnaround from where we were last year, the number of players we've brought in, and it's not easy to get that right. But the run that we've been on, you know, the players grew in confidence. The training tempo has been fantastic, and I'm so proud of every one of them.
And this run, you've put together 4 wins on the bounce now. Are you peaking at the right time going into these playoffs?
Well, you know, it's just about momentum, you know, and we have a strong squad at the minute, and it's a joy to just work with these players. You know, there's so much competition for places, and even the guys that haven't been involved and had much game time, I've said to them, you know, don't feel that you're not part of it. You're a big part of it, because what you're really doing is you're keeping the guys on the pitch on their toes. And you know, we have these games in Thursday night, the young v old, and sometimes I cringe, because the way they go at it is the way they've been going at it in games. But you know, the biggest thing for me, you know, today as well is seeing Ross McLean back in the pitch. And I said this to Andy Ross during the week, you know, if any young professional starting the game has a role model to look at, it's how he's looked after himself. He's got himself here for rehab, he's got himself here, you know, to see Lara. He's been at every session, and he's been at every game. You know, I let players go that when they were out injured when they come into games, and I don't force players, but he's been a big part of the group, and he's been an inspiration to the group and how he's recovered. And to see him back with a Forfar jersey on before the end of the season is just incredible, and he's a credit.
Absolutely. And of course, the playoffs to come. How do you think you can fare going into these matches?
Well, I mean, at this moment in time, we don't know who we'll face. It's been a great chase between ourselves, Elgin and Stranraer and Annan. You know, only probably 7 or 8 games ago, you know, even Dumbarton came into that. They had a great run, but you know, we're delighted to be there. And you know, Stranraer and Elgin, Annan will be very disappointed, but you know, they're really good sides, and they'll bounce back. But I felt it was our time. You know, players like Mark McCallum, Stuart Morrison, Craig Slater coming back, Matty Allen, and even the backroom team like, you know, Mark Watley and Wayne Henderson and Taz. You know, there's been a lot of disappointment for them, and you know, a lot of onus on a backroom team. You know, particularly when you've had a few poor seasons, but we've turned it around this season when there was a lot of times when you start to doubt yourself. But we go into the playoffs, you know, in confidence. We go into the playoffs looking forward to it. You know, we know we've got another game next Saturday, but you know, it gives us a chance maybe to sort of, you know, give other players some game time. But we'll go out and we'll prepare, and we'll see who we've got, and then we'll give it our best shot.
Was there a time when you doubted this day might come? Just a few weeks ago, you were 5 points behind Elgin and needed the win to get yourselves back into contention.
Well, we all said that. When it comes to the head-to-heads, I think I mentioned it to you as well. You know, when you're playing the teams around you, you have to win those games. You know, when we lost up at Elgin, and you know, it swung back in their favour, and you know, and then Stranraer had an unbelievable result at Spartans. Well, we had a terrific result here at home against East Kilbride. Going to Stranraer last week, you know, and just sort of taking the reins. It was important today that we didn't hand them back. You know, get our job done. We can't do anything about the other games, but as the way it's panned out, the games have worked out for us, and I'm absolutely delighted with the position we find ourselves in.
It'll be a double header against either Hamilton, Cove or East Fife. Does it matter to you who you're playing?
Well, it doesn't really matter. You know, it's getting there is the most important thing. You know, all three sides are terrific sides, and you know they are playing a league above. So we've got to believe over the two games that we can get the better of them. We've got to do our homework. After next week, we don't get a lot of time because obviously the game comes pretty quick on the Tuesday. So, you know, what we do is this week we enjoy the achievement. You know, we get in there. I stood up there and I put my neck on the line last year at the end of the season when we just secured, you know, our league status. I made a bold statement that I would turn things around, and I feel we're part of the way there, because the main aim is to get out of this league. We haven't done that yet, we haven't achieved that yet, but we're giving ourselves a chance.
Very well done, Jim.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations. We'll see you next week.